Welcome back to Living in Kigali. Before the break, we were talking about the different challenges young people face when they're trying to be professionals within the Kigali landscape. Now, I want to wrap up this conversation briefly by talking about different roles that we young people could take up in order to make sure that, you know, we change what's happening. So starting with you, Patrick,
I think
the policymaker.
No. Right. Also, I think from what Martha said, spoke about programs and then young people having the skills. I feel like that it sort of heads back to education, right? So we like, what's the education system in place? Is he empowering young people with the right skills, first and foremost? You know? And beyond that, if you're looking at the organization that trying to do the work that would have been done by the education we have in space. So are they engaging young people enough? Are they at the forefront of most of these development, ideologies and then the designs of programs? And then you ask about what we can do, yes. So, but like, one thing that we have to do as young people is not to sleep and wait. Because nothing will find us in our comfort zones.
Right.
We have to step up, position ourselves, so that the day will come and they'll be like, okay, want young people, let them see us everywhere. But as long as we're in our comfort zones, even if they open up the spaces for us to engage, we'll never get the opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Talking about opening up spaces, what are some of the spaces you feel like need more taking up? You know, there's like way too much of a gap in a particular field.
Sarah, that's a trick question because I have certain sentiments that if I air out on live TV might create a bit of a challenge for me.
We're here to disrupt.
But there are certain things that I definitely have concerns about, but recently have been kind of readjusted around the labor law. Speaking of policy, by the way, you know, there's we're young people, we're living a different time, and you find that when, you know, a young couple, I'm not married, by the way, but I'm just trying to specify, for some of my friends, you're both working, and then, you know, you get a baby, and then, you know, the woman, you know, has to stay, she gets the 3 months, great, but then it is co-parenting, so you're kind of parenting together. So the man initially had, I think, I don't know how many days, and then they were scraped, and then they're back on now, thankfully. So things like that, you know, that's it's a different reality. So when you look at policymakers who are probably, you know, lived at a different time, you know, where the woman did everything. Now, I actually, well,
Times
if you're getting married, you need your, you know, your partner to be there with you, right? But that's just one. But speaking of things that I feel like we could do to take up space, for me, it's as a young professional looking at the needs that I've had in my personal development, my career development. I've had to mostly teach myself a lot of things. So I would want, as a manager moving forward, to be able to train other people behind me. So to make that investment, because I feel like there's a gap. And so if I'm, you know, making sure that I'm lifting other people up, right? So then they get to those spaces, they have the capacity to take the, you know, the spaces and use them very well.
You mentioned something around management, right? I would say when it's like older people filling up these managerial roles, they seem to lean towards the paternalistic type of leadership style, and it's not really doing anything for us.
It doesn't help, and you know, I understand the framework from where that comes from, where you're supposed to fear the leader. But honestly, if you're not an empathetic leader who understands the needs of your team, they're less likely to give you their best. I happen to work under a really amazing manager, and every coaching opportunity she gets, she's going to pour into me, and I feel it because I'm not the same person I was 3 months ago. That's how fast, you know, the impact that it makes when you have somebody who's intentional and who sees the reason, the importance of investing in younger people. Yeah, so that's
incredible. This is such an interesting conversation. I'm so sad that we have to cut it short, but if there's any last words that you have for the young people who are watching from home, still waiting for these opportunities to come through, what can you say to them?
I think the certainty is no opportunities will find you where you are. You go and move out and go look for them. Keep trying. You know, if today you don't have an opportunity, maybe you have no job, you have no skill. She says she taught herself most of the things. Try to explore. We have internet. Things being a little bit made available in Kigali, so or in Rwanda generally. Try to go online. Try to learn these more basic things and then avail yourself.
What about you, Martha?
Yeah, on that note, kind of piggyback on what he said, I think for young people in Rwanda, and I know sometimes it's kind of made to look a bit cheesy, but we do have a lot of opportunities for young people, and the government is pro young Rwandans, right? They're really rooting for you, and so to have that mindset when you're going into the workplace and know that the opportunities are there. Actually, it's an issue of the opportunities. I don't have enough people to take them up, so always have that mindset when you're going into any opportunity, anything that you want to get into.
Right. Thank you so much for your time and coming through and sharing your thoughts on what it is like to be a young professional in Kigali. Thank you so much for coming through. If there's one thing that you could take home, it's this. First of all, be so good that they cannot ignore you. Second of all, the opportunities are there. It's just up to you to take up the space and, you know, grab them. I was gonna say grab them by the balls, but I feel like it's not. Right. Ooh, so I'll see you next time, and thank you so much for tuning in. This was Living in Kigali. Is that okay? Okay, so what are we gonna talk about?